It might be on already.
Hello,
Okay.
hello.
There it is. Right.
Welcome.
It's good to be back. It's been a minute. Carlos and Chantel. We got a pretty cool topic today, though.
Thought we would just address some things. We've kind of been dealing with some things as far as women desiring to empower their men and what that looks like. So we're gonna go for an interview style with Carlos.
Hey, I love being interviewed by you, babe.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Awesome. So we talked a lot about masculinity and the importance of the health of a man, right?
Right.
So from your perspective, what does that actually look like for men?
So,
Like healthy masculinity.
well, I would say that physically is a big part of it. Physically, how a man can, well, I don't know. For me personally, when I think of masculinity, I think of strength and stamina and hard work and commitment and also confidence. And I also, man, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I also think of like being able to perform sexually. I mean, I have a lot of different people that I've known over the years, a lot of different men my age or maybe even a little younger or a little older. I'll be 49 this year in November. And a lot of them take testosterone to improve their masculinity. And I get it. I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying, like, I think that creates more testosterone, obviously, through taking this testosterone, which gives you more confidence, more strength, but then also it gives them more drive. And a lot of people, a lot of the guys that I know that are taking it, they talk about, it affects their sex life, even makes it better.
Well, that kind of leads me to the next question. Why do you think so many men today struggle with confidence, leadership, and identity?
Well, it's a long topic, man. It should be broken down into, let's start with the first one, like the first part of it. About?
Why do you think so many men struggle with confidence?
Okay. So confidence, I think, has a lot to do with their upbringing to start with, how they were raised. Um, yeah, man, how do I put this? So even confidence has to do with relationships and their ability there's confidence at so many different levels.
Right.
So a lot of men have lots of confidence in business or in work, their work ethic, and they're able to work well and they can, outwork any man, right? They have this, but then it comes to relationships and that confidence is just not there. So it's interesting as we work with a lot of men and their confidence is lacking when it comes to relationships. Typically, we can tie it back to even their childhood and seeing things that they went through in their childhood that has, um, well, it's the example of their parents, the example of their dad, and that actually affects their confidence in relationships to where then they're not confident enough to communicate with other women or with women in general.
So wouldn't you say that their lack of confidence with women or relationships also can spill over into business? Like don't you think there's a little bit of a cap maybe sometimes when men have this confidence in women, like, or with business, like, is that all that they're successful in? And like, how does their business grow if they have a lack of confidence in relationship?
Well, yeah, I would say relationship with women specifically. They typically are really good at relationship with men, but what's interesting about that relationship and confidence with other men is typically because we beat on each other's chests. We're good at at a boy in sports, whether you're connecting on sports, you're connecting on a vehicle, or even connecting on the work you do, and doing work together, going hunting together. I can tell you, I've worked around a lot of men, and they all are like connecting with men and have these cool bonds. But again, most of those men won't know anything about the other man's wife or the other man's children or family or any kind of details that would really actually show that they have a deeper, more meaningful relationship. Well, that's not what guys do. Guys don't do that. That's a girl trait. And it's interesting because it's true. Like when I have hung out with guys and we go, maybe it's to an event together or we go to sports together, like it is not typical for them to ask me questions about my family or my wife or my relationships or what I, what my dreams are, my goals are. Guys just don't talk that way. That's not what guys do. So it's really interesting because the confidence may be there in business, and guys can talk about business, guys can talk about sports, and like I said, the hunting, the latest deer they killed or whatever. However, when it's true relationship stuff that takes the relationship deeper, a lot of times that's off limits for men, men on men. So then, why would they be any good at it with women? Who do they practice with? They don't talk with women.
So the next question, as we look into the heart behind masculinity and understanding men, what are some signs that a man feels disempowered or emasculated, and how might women unknowingly contribute to that?
Well, I would say that, so in dating or marriage?
I think in general, I mean, both and.
Yeah, so I think a lot of times in dating, you'll find it that it's interesting because I think women are a lot more, if you would, guarded or a lot more careful when they're dating. I think women tend to look up to men and try to honor men and even will serve a little bit more, and make a man feel empowered. However, I also believe that's a response to the pursuit that the man does, because a man is pursuing a woman, and it's the art of the pursuit and the challenge that he feels to try to win this woman over, that makes him then more, so even appear more masculine or more
so
confident.
It's the dynamic that happens in a dating relationship.
Yeah, definitely, I would say so. And I think that, again, it's the interesting thing, my background, and when I was younger, my mom often likes to tell people how I was a womanizer. Had lots of girlfriends, right? And so it's interesting though, but what that translated into then was confidence in who I was and who I was, um as a man, who I was as a boy back then, young boy.
What did it feed in you? It fed the testosterone.
Definitely.
Right? So I think isn't that part of the...
Yeah, there's no doubt that that's part of the masculinity.
Right.
And so it's almost like the connection of like the confidence then feeds the masculinity, which then psychologically makes you more confident, which then makes you want to work out, makes you want to go pursue that woman, makes you hungry, and then the desire. Yeah, I was gonna say the desire, I truly believe, then creates the testosterone, because and it's a result of all the things you do to want to impress her, right? You want to be fit and healthy, you want to be the star athlete, you want to be the best singer, and you want to stay up all the time going after her and chasing her. Yeah, it is interesting how I could definitely see how that's tied together. Okay,
so then what does that look like then when in marriage? Because you've had, two contrasts.
Yeah, for sure.
But what is the dynamic? What happens in marriage, and how might women contribute to an emasculation of the masculinity?
Well, through my experience, what I experienced in my previous marriage, and I do want to just pay tribute and honor to Lee right now publicly, because she did pass away a couple months ago. I guess it's been now. I was going to say a few weeks ago. I lose track of time, but the point is, I want to honor her and send blessings and honor to the family, and because I'm grateful for her being in my life. She was my previous wife, and the thing that was different, and she told the world this, so I'm not saying anything she didn't say. Lots of people heard her say it, is I have 5 children. So she had 4 that she birthed and 1 that she was raising. She was 10 years older than I was. And I will tell you, at first it was cute and it was like, oh, fun, she's like my mama. But very quickly it was no longer fun. She was the boss and I needed to obey like a child. And so it's interesting though, because that dynamic can happen in a marriage very quickly. Women can feel like they're helping and mothering their husband. But it's interesting
I
because
think
it's this subtle
even
change.
unintentionally.
Yeah, for
right?
sure, for sure. There is no doubt in that it happens. And we just recently had we work with couples all the time, okay? And whether they're married or dating and single and then they come together, and part of that process we help them. One of them was even saying that she didn't want to feel like she was a mother. Oh, that's right. I remember now. It had to do with a couple and helping the husband in this case. Well, it wasn't even a husband yet, but working on that, and it had to do with getting him out of bed in the morning to go to work. And she's like, I don't want to be your mama, making you get up and telling you need to get out of bed and go to work. And it was interesting because the dynamic was, but I don't want you to be that mama, but I just want you to care enough to help me get up. Like that's what he was inferring in that situation. But I could totally see it. Like, be a man, get your ass out of bed and go to work, and want to go to work to provide for your wife and your kids, right? Like that's what a woman wants. She don't want to have to get you out of bed. And the other thing that's interesting about this whole thing is like, if you need to be mothered, you will be, right? Yeah. Again, especially with a lot of these powerful women. The world that we live in now is women are very powerful and strong and capable and intelligent and hardworking. And, that's why I think it's super powerful that God told us to yoke together as a couple. And so there is not this thing, well, man's better than women. Well, we might have a body makeup that allows us to work more hours, allows us to lift heavier things. Again, that's testosterone. Yeah, it has to do with the physique and the ability to do a little bit more physically, but mentally, emotionally, well, let's go emotionally, like emotionally and spiritually, women by far exceed or accelerate more than men, are more mature in that area. So then it would make sense that then men would be more mature physically and strength wise. We have our gifts to complement each other. So, but yeah, I would say that the whole motherly thing, if you feel like you're mothering your husband, you probably are emasculating him or making him feel lesser. But also, you may not even know that. You may think you're taking care of him and loving him well. And he may feel like, that it's cute. I don't know. I just know that's what happened to me for sure.
It's an easy dynamic to slip into, right? Much like codependency. So those are a couple of things. So then what kind of support, you gave a good example, but what kind of support can a woman give that helps a man step into that strength without becoming the mom, right? What is maybe
belief?
How do you
for sure expressing the belief in your man?
What does that look like?
Speaking to him and saying, I believe in you. I mean, it's really that simple. We have the routines that we do. We call it our Epic 30 to help create an epic life. I create what I want, but it takes time and effort. And in that process, we do a process of being grateful. So it's through gratitude and through words of affirmation, as the love language is called. And so it's literally speaking life over them and believing in them and edifying them in who they are as a strong man, as a powerful provider, as a hardworking, dedicated, committed man. And again, what is it that you want them to become? Call it forth in them and be grateful for those things that you see, and then tell them that you believe in them in that way. if there's something that maybe they're not quite meeting your expectations or not fulfilling what you see a man to be, then call it forth in an affirming way, in an edifying way, in a life-giving way that calls them up higher, instead of shaming them or guilting them for lack or sleeping in, or again, man, you got to do the work. You got to be willing to work and do the work. And women, you got to be willing to call them up and do the work as well. Yeah. I'm not going to let women off the hook. Like, they need to do some work too. Like, it's part of it. We all got to work, you know, and that's, I think, part of the process that people want the quick fix, or people want the just instant, and it's work, but it's worth it. So worth it.
So my next question is, what is the difference between building a man up and trying to fix him?
The how. You tell me that a lot.
The how.
You tell me that a lot. My bride tells me that constantly. And you know, it's an interesting ripple effect. And I saw this in my previous marriage a lot. So she treated me like a child, so then I treated my children like babies. You follow me? So like, it was like it snowballed. I felt like she would talk down to me, so it's like that old story, right? Where you kick the dog or whatever, like, and then I would talk down to them. And so it's really interesting how that happens. We're always looking to get upset or talk down to someone, or if you feel shamed, you're looking to shame someone else. Like, and so it's interesting how that would happen in my previous marriage, that I would talk down to the children. And so then that became a habit. And when we got married, she was always like encouraging me, like, babe, it's how you speak to our kids that makes the difference. You talk down to them, then they feel shame and guilt. If you speak life to them and as an equal, and as a, like, we're in this together, teamwork, and we can do this, like, and I believe in you, like, and then call them up higher. Like, she helped me so much in my languaging with the kids, but then I saw how much that helped me in the way she spoke to me as well. And then vice versa, the way I speak to her. And so it's a constant, like, process of learning how to speak well. So it's the how that really makes all the difference, because, you know, you can say it one way, even the tone, right, makes all the difference.
Well, that goes back to the next question. What does respect look like to a man in everyday practical terms?
Yeah, you know, it is funny, because this whole term of respect, and women need to respect men, and men need to, what is it? Just certain thing, but my point is women need respect too. So interesting, like, especially in this world and day and age we live in, like, that isn't just for men. Respect is honoring and blessing people. And so the question was, what does it look like to have a woman respect you?
What does it look like to a man? Respect. What does
respect
look like to a man?
Well, I think again, this goes back to, I think sometimes what people think respect is like, well, I'm going to stand here and she's going to serve me hand and foot. Or like, I see this visually sometimes in pictures, men are standing there like this, and their wife's all like, oh, honey. Or their kids are like at their feet. And like, that's a picture for men for some reason, like John Wayne or something, like a rough and tough cowboy. And it's like, you respect me, you bow at my feet. Sometimes that's the impression that people get, or that, I'm supposed to be all stoic. But I think really, man, respect is really just about knowing the potential of your husband, believing in that potential of your husband, or your man, or your spouse. And that's why I think it goes both ways. And then just being willing to help them go for it. Go for it. That to me is respect, to know them, and then to know what their goals are, to know what their dreams are, to know what they want in life, and then help them go after it. That's a weird definition of respect.
It's good.
But I really feel that way. I think respect has been twisted so much to be honest, to leverage for a man. Like, You need to respect me. Like it's
Well,
like it
it's
creates. I
also
feel like the energy of it's entitlement. That's it.
right.
Entitlement.
Well, it also has flip-flopped for women too,
Yeah,
right? With
sure.
the women empowerment movement
Hmm.
and, trying to come out from under the submission model
Right.
and buck against that, right? So
Sure.
there's been like the pendulum has swung so far that like men do feel disrespected
Yeah,
and squashed.
for
So,
sure. For sure. Because again, I'm just good for one thing, a paycheck. That's what a lot of men will feel like.
and women are just good for one thing, sex or
Children, baby factory, right?
taking
And
care of the home.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Being the servant to the man. And
Mhm.
that's why I think the best description, if you want to have a powerful, empowered one flesh marriage where you operate together as one flesh, you got to understand what the yoke does
Mhm.
to yoke together. It's amazing. Like that's a great equalizer. Go study what a physical yoke is, and you'll understand how it works and functions with animals. Like it's crazy because that's what God called us to do, and that's what I believe all my heart. Like I'm I'm not above you, and I will admit, like there were a lot of times that my wife like allowed me to do things just to help me with my confidence. And man, it's taken some time for me to realize, babe, I'm sorry. Like I've apologized to her many times because of my lack of understanding of what the yoke is and equal is. And I felt that as a man, I need to make decisions and whatever. And really, it's beautiful when it's the yoke. It's beautiful when you acknowledge the strengths and the power of your wife, and same vice versa, and to rely on her for so many things that I thought I needed to make decisions on. And she was way smarter than me on a lot of things that we have encountered. And yet she would have let me make the decision, even though she had more experience, more understanding, more wisdom. That is powerful. That's a message that males and females should learn, that you could step up and say, well, I'm the expert because I did this and I did this and I did this. Which she could have said that at any time with a lot of things, especially with our children, because she had thousands of hours and we met 11 years of experience with children. And here I come in because I had 4 children I raised in my previous marriage and I had all this knowledge and it puffed me up. It did. But she believed in me and empowered me during that time and didn't shame me or guilt me or tell me how, what really I have, she didn't get into, what do you call it? You call it that
Jockeying for position.
yeah, she chose
Well,
not to do that. And it's amazing how it empowered me. But then now I can see that she's truly an expert, way more experienced and way better at this stuff than I am. But I don't even know if I would have seen that had she tried to jockey for position. I wouldn't have been able to see it. But now my eyes were open and I'm like, oh my gosh, like best in the planet, seriously, when it
thank
comes to
you.
communication, when it comes to relationships. Seriously, doesn't get any better than her, especially even with kids. Like, I'm so grateful that you have taught me so much. And that's another thing. Can you learn from your spouse? Can you? I will tell you. Once I saw that, and even that, me being able to see it and empower her in that, knowing what an incredible best mentor on the planet when it comes to relationships and working with children. Like you will not find anybody else better on the planet. And I am a like researcher dude.
So let's move into the next set of questions.
Okay.
Okay. Marriage and family. We've kind of already gone there a little bit, but how can women create space for their man to lead while still using their own gifts and voice?
Well, I mean, right there, I just said it like she did. She made room for me to the areas that she saw that I wasn't confident in. What was actually children, to be honest, it was. I mean, I came into this and I had, I, when I came into this marriage, I was hoping for another chance to raise children because I saw the mistakes I made. So I had zero confidence when it came to children. So if she would have squashed that with the shame and guilt I already felt on how I did my previous marriage with 4 children who didn't want anything to do with me, the fruit, the fruit was they had nothing to do with me. And so but yet I thought I knew. And she was so subtle, so gentle, so wise about it to empower me, but also then to guide me with love and make me not even realize she was guiding me. That's a skill. That's amazing. If you can learn that, you can help anybody. So now I will tell you, I'm one of the best in the world. I'm the best. I would say I'm one of the best fathers on the planet. No, because she shaped me as an expert in that world with children. She shaped me. She made me into this father. And I am good. I will work harder than any father on the planet to love and bless my children and bless my wife.
So, moving on. What do men most need to hear from their wives in seasons of pressure, stress, or uncertainty?
Yeah, I keep coming back to it. I believe in you and I'm with you. We're in this together. We're in it for the long haul.
Mm.
I believe in us. I say that all the time when we face stuff. And it's powerful to know that no matter what happens in the world, now there's a difference. Codependency can look a lot like that too. I know codependency well. I have that badge from my previous marriage. Difference is we are very powerful as individuals. And then when we come together as one flesh and get into sync, it is amazing. Super powerful. What was the question? Did I even answer it? I don't
I
even
think
know.
you did. What do men need to hear most?
Oh, yeah. So, yes. So it's just that, like, it's constant for us.
Okay, so we're gonna move into some more deep and relatable moments. What is one thing you wish women and think about the clients too that we deal with, because there are different scenarios and circumstances. But what is one thing that you wish women understood about how deeply men feel failure?
Mhm. Yeah, so it's interesting. Something that's super important too, though. Women, it's good and powerful and good to challenge your men. I want to say that because sometimes women back off and they don't challenge their men. And we've been working on this even more and more, how to present this, because it is important to challenge your man. But it's really the heart behind it and the how you challenge him matters. Because again, going back to the whole thing of
Yeah, because if it's through shame and criticism,
that's right.
Then you're just squashing their core.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. And that's the thing, when a man fails, like he feels like the world's ended, like he failed at being a father, failed at being a husband. He just
a business
yeah
failure.
he didn't win today. He had no wins. It was a long day at work and everything went bad. And then he comes home and everything's going bad at home too, right? Walks through the door and mama tells him all the things that are wrong and all the ways that he's not doing enough or not providing enough. And it just one after another, after another, after another. Somewhere along the way, it's got to shift. Like somebody's got to be able to shift things. And I think, again, I challenge men all the time, but I would challenge a woman, even though you've had a rough day, can you be presentable for your husband when he walks through the door? Something that Chantel did that made all the difference. When I'd come home from work, a hard day at work, she would make all the kids, or two kids, as I say all the kids, Mateo and Hazel stop whatever they were doing, whether it was on some game or whether it was reading or a book or whatever they were doing, playing with toys, and come greet me. Daddy's home. Go give dad love. Tell him you love him. Give him a hug. We're so grateful for him. Like she programmed the children to pull the best out of me by walking through the door, and it's like your heart melts. And then she would greet me with love. And I made it a habit then. I started thinking, how can I make this special? Because it's not her fault that my day sucked, that everything had challenges and everything seemed to snowball downhill. So then can I come in and purposely be enthusiastic? Well, you're being fake. No, I'm blessing my family. I'm choosing to have self-discipline, master my emotions, and come in with love and life. And I'd swing around, like I haven't seen her in years. Hey, man, I love you. I'll do my best to come in with life, enthusiasm, and a smile, regardless of what happened that day. So again, these are all little things. I think that's the thing too. People don't realize it's the little things that repeat every day that make the difference for greatness, epic, and amazing, or shitty that leads to divorce.
The default, right? The autopilot, the allowing whatever circumstances outside dictate how we operate in our home. So that just answered the question of what habits or practices can women bring into their home that naturally strengthen their husband's confidence. Carlos's example would have been one of my answers, but I think something that is really powerful in that.
It's our daily habits, our daily routines
The
matter.
intentionality.
That's right.
Yeah.
And little things like, we have a called a rule. It is something we've built into our home with our kids. When we leave somewhere, we say, I love you. When we come home, we say, I love you. My daughter will come home and even interrupt some of our calls with clients. I tell her to, I want to see your face when you come home and I want you to say, I love you. When you leave, I want you to say, I love you and bye. See you soon. See you again. You know what I mean? That's those little things. And then we have our Epic 30. That helps program our communication, our confidence. And we're committed to that and to each other through that process of speaking life over each other and believing through the process, gratitude, honor. So
how could women help men turn setbacks into fuel instead of shame?
Well, first, validation. Men need validation too. They do. Because we feel crazy when everything goes wrong. We just feel like we're a failure. We suck. We suck bad. And we lost today. And nobody likes to lose. People love to win. So when you lose, even at work, your day, when you lose the day, you definitely need to be validated. Sometimes men or women come home and they're just like, I just need a release. Like they don't even know that, but they just come home and start, and it feels like complaining and griping and bitching and moaning. You're just like, can you shut up already? Stop. But the reality is don't take it personal. It's not about you. It's about them needing to release. And so again, I think it's first the validation so that they don't feel crazy that, okay, yeah, man, that sucks. And validate the emotion. And then speak an identity into them. Of what a powerful man and husband they are. I remember so many times we went through this process where I felt like a failure as a husband and a father. Something went wrong or something happened or fell short on this payment or that payment, especially when it comes to money, men, wanting to provide for their kids or their wife. And I would fall short and feel like I failed and I didn't close the deal or I didn't do the business deal or whatever it may be, or didn't whatever it may be, and there's not enough to pay all our bills. And then she would speak over me. What an amazing provider I am. What an amazing husband, and how amazing I am at closing deals, how amazing I am at developing companies. She would speak over me the opposite of what happened so that I could believe receive and achieve those things. And it's super powerful how that does, I felt today. That's not how I always am. It's real. Like, and if I was always that way, maybe it's because you didn't speak it over me, or maybe because you didn't believe that in me. Nobody ever believed it about me. So I just kept doing that thing, kept getting stuck in that cycle and created a habit and a belief and a story. We've got to create a new story. And that's what you helped me do, Chantel, for sure. To become an amazing father and husband. You changed my story. You disrupted what I believed and you spoke to it to create the best. Epic.
What would you say to a wife who feels her husband is passive or checked out?
You have the power, way more power than you realize. Way more power. Sex is a big inspiration. Don't use that as a tool for punishment, please. That's horrible. That will emasculate a man big time. But use it as a reward and use it as a tool for encouragement, for sure.
Confidence.
Yeah,
Building.
For sure.
No.
And so that's one thing, but also because again, it's all tied together. More sex you have, the more confident you become. The more sex you have, the more you can get it up or salute. It's crazy how it's all connected. The testosterone, right, which then creates a manly man. And so and challenge him. There's where the challenges come in. Challenge him to greatness. Challenge him to go work out with you. Challenge him to, hey, let's see what we can do together. Challenge him and cook for him maybe even better meals that would make him healthier or stronger. But you got to do it too. See, that's the thing. It's sometimes, the women want to say something and they do the opposite. Or they say they tell you what to do in a challenge, but they don't do it themselves. So again, that's true with children, and it's true with your husband, your wife. Like, it's true for both sides. We got to be willing to do the work. So I would say that it is good to challenge, but the how is like inspire, motivate, use your body, use your lips, use your hips, use your hair. Like power. Charm, speak live, charm, and believe in him. You got what it takes. You got what it takes. You got what it takes. Come on, don't quit. Let's go. And some people would say, well, that's, faking it. No, it helps. And they may not even acknowledge it in the beginning. Get them to stand up, get them to go for a walk, change their state, get them to do something. That's true for everyone. Everyone. You're not a special snowflake. And neither is he. He's just been pushed down so much. You can start with just a word of gratitude, acknowledging what he does and being grateful for. Start with that, and you can build from that. But just know that you have the power, women. You really, really do.
So if you could leave women with one challenge, one thing to do this week to empower the men in their lives, what would it be?
Think back to why you married him. And when you married him, what you love most about him when you married him, the why. And then speak that over him again. Just think, pause, write it down, and then say it over again. I really love this about you. The thing that you loved about him when you first got married. Again, this is speaking to married women. Because there's a reason why you married him, right? There's a reason why you loved him well in the beginning. Think back. Speak that over him this week. Tell him what you love and like most about him, even if it's not today, what it was back then. And then build off of that. Be willing to say, what can we do to build this back to better than where we started? Because I'm telling you, like right here, I didn't know it could be this good. Number one. Number two, it keeps getting better and better and better. When I'm saying better, the connection, the affection, the love, the challenging, the sex blows my mind. Like nothing that I ever thought possible on what we have. And if we can do it, broken man that was divorced and pessimistic, negative, complaining all the time, if I can do it, you can do it. It's worth it. It's worth all the hard work. She's worth it.
Intentionality. I would say that. Be intentional with the things, all the things, and empowering. You know, if we want confident men, we have to create it, and we have power to do that. So I create what I want. No. So thank you for joining us. We're glad you decided to pop on.
A little bit long, but hopefully I'm always long. I gotta learn to shorten things, babe.
Yeah. So we'll see you next time. If you want more of this content, go to school.com/epic your life. We have lots of teaching, training, an 8-week course. We'd love to help you there. All right. Blessings.